Hi there. If folks are wired for this type of stuff, getting back to the
Yep.
topic of your presentation,
Yeah.
so why is it not intuitive for everyone?
So we are not built for these conditions. This is a 50,000-year-old legacy machine that wasn't made for these conditions. It's only the past 10,000 years that we've been living in populations that were bigger than 150 out of the 50,000-year lifespan that we have. It all started with farming, because now we could raise resources more than we needed. So you could have intellectual classes, standing armies, and the rest of it. And there's many things that are happening in the world that are just, quite frankly, short-circuiting us. Technology I just talked about, the addictive qualities of the dopamine release. Dopamine is supposed to help us find food and build shelter and find resources. But when you can get dopamine from a phone, then you're going to do that. Serotonin is supposed to help us regulate the system of hierarchy so that it remains healthy and service-oriented. But if you can get serotonin from buying name brand goods, which is why they put the logos on the outside, to show off, because what you're doing is you're demonstrating, we value in this country, material wealth is a demonstration of success. If you have a lot of stuff, you must be doing well, right? It raises your position in the social hierarchy. And so we put logos on the outside as a demonstration. That's why we call them status symbols. That's actually correct. The problem is there's no relationship. And so there's just a bunch of stuff that's short-circuiting us, quite frankly. And so it makes it even harder for us to regulate the systems. That's why we have to do it prescriptively, and that's why I think the responsibility of leaders is greater now than it's ever been. We aren't made for global businesses where you can talk to a customer 10,000 miles away. We're just not made for it. We're made for this. You could have put me on a screen. We have the technology to put me on a screen. I could have given you the entire talk remotely. You didn't even need to come here. You can do it from your desk. Doesn't feel the same. It's just not the same. And there's a certain warmth that people say, oh, you came here. I'm like, yes, of course I came here. And people they know that I had to get on a plane, I had to fly, I had to sleep in a hotel, I have to get on another plane. Like the time and the energy that it takes to be here for a couple hours, it builds relationship, gratitude, both ways. That you would come and give your time and sit and come after. Like we both feel it. But in our modern day and age, we can, in the name of efficiency, we take all that away. And the point is, there's always a price for the money we make. There's always a cost for everything we do. And sometimes that cost is not worth it. So I'll give you one example. So in the Marine Corps, it used to be that if a Marine wanted to change their death benefits, they had to fill out a form, go see their NCO, and the NCO had to sign off on it. And if the NCO saw that they were taking their mom off their death benefits, the NCO would say, what's going on? But now in the name of efficiency, it's all digital. So the Marine can just log on to an intranet and just go change their death benefits, right? The Marines also know that in almost every suicide, within a week before the suicide, they change their death benefits. That's been lost. The human interaction's been lost. We've taken away are you okay? We lost it. Now, they saved money, absolutely. They saved paper and they saved bureaucracy. But at what expense? There are many of those decisions that are absolutely worth the expense. But some of them, they aren't worth it. They're just not worth it. Like putting up with parents screaming and yelling about, I need my kid to have it in case of emergency, maybe putting up with that is worth it. In fact, there's a wonderful millennial, her name is Kristen Hadid. She did a TED Talk, which I recommend you watch. And she says that the biggest challenge she has in her generation is the failed parenting strategies that their parents employed. So here's what she goes into. She says, you told us we were special the whole time. You kept telling us we were special. I got A's not because I earned them. I got A's because you complained to the school. I'm in an honors class not because I'm honors quality, but because you complained to the school, and so they put me in honors. And sometimes I got grades even before you complained. It's just because the teacher didn't want to deal with you. You gave me a medal for coming in last. And then here's what happened. I graduated school and I went into the world and I found out I'm not special, that I won't get a promotion if my mom complains, I won't get a reward if I don't work hard, and yet I'm sitting there complaining that I'm not getting rewards without doing any work. Please stop doing that, and please stop telling us we're special, because we're not. Make us work hard for the things. And she basically says one of the big problems that this generation has is basically a failed parenting strategy. And we know this, there's some studies on this as well, where when you give a kid who comes in last a medal, it does two things. One, the kid who came in first, who worked really hard, it actually devalues it. So they're like, well, what's the point? And the kid who comes in last knows they didn't earn it, so they actually feel worse. They're actually embarrassed. It actually does damage. You know, we're hierarchical. It's okay to give rewards to the top people who, if you're giving them for the right reasons, because people will work hard for the reward. That's what happens. So it's to stand up sometimes to these things, I think, or to work with the parents to figure out what's right for the kids for the long term. I hate to say it, it's a terrible thing to say, and I don't mean to make victims out of them, but I think a lot of the challenges that this young millennial generation is having is their parents screwed them up. A lot. And then cell phones and companies and all the rest of it.